WrestleMania 42 starts off with a six-man tag match between the Usos, LA Knight versus Division, and Speed. This was a really enjoyable match. It wasn't a special match by any things, but it was a decent overall solid match. Speed got some in-ring action. We saw a little bit of what he could do. He ended up doing a nice head scissor on LA Knight early in the match, but towards the end of the match, we ended up getting some miscommunication where ISO Speed accidentally bumps. Well, he pushes LA Knight into Logan Paul. Austin Theory thought that Speed did that on purpose, so he gets frustrated. Then he wants Speed to attack LA Knight. LA Knight ends up coming back into the picture, takes out Speed, takes out Austin Theory, hits the BFT, picks up the victory. After the match, though, Logan Paul is, of course, frustrated at Speed. He thinks he's the reason why they lost the match, so he ends up attacking ISO Speed, hits him with his punch, then brings it to the announce table. He's about to go for a dive off the top rope onto the announce table, but the Usos and the LA Knight ends up coming in, taking out Logan Paul. Then they end up getting ISO Speed to get some of his payback at Logan Paul. So they end up putting Logan Paul through on the announce table. ISO Speed ends up going on the top rope, hitting a crazy frog splash. And that was a good moment. I enjoyed this. This was a good way to open the show. The match itself was fine, but I really enjoyed the ISO Speed getting his revenge on Logan Paul because he never wanted to team up with Logan Paul in the division. He never did. He was kind of like forced into it. So he gets his revenge on Logan Paul. So I enjoyed it for what it was. This was a good way to incorporate a celebrity where it wasn't too long. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't like overbooked by any means. I enjoyed it for what it was. Plus, no one gets really losing credibility here at all. It was a nice, cool, enjoyable, fun opening match, which I personally enjoy. So I like what they did with ISO Speed. I like what they did here. Really enjoyed it. Don't got too much to say, but overall, this was a good way to incorporate ISO Speed, and I overall enjoyed this. Moving on to the unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. This was a great match. Really enjoyed this match. No blood, unfortunately, for an unsanctioned match, which is very disappointing because the main event got blood, but this match didn't get blood, which was very disappointing because it's like, if a normal 1v1 match in your main event could get blood, why couldn't this get blood? But it is what it is. We did get some cool spots. We had one spot where Drew McIntyre ends up doing a suplex on Jacob Fatu onto some steel chairs, which I thought was brutal. We ended up getting one spot where Drew McIntyre also putting Jacob Fatu through a table on the outside while he was on the top rope. He just pushes him off the top rope onto the table, which I thought was cool. We do get towards the end. Jacob Fatu ends up getting the upper hand. He ends up going on the top rope, hitting his moonsault, ends up doing his moonsault onto Drew McIntyre, laying on the table to pick up the victory. I enjoyed this match. This was a great match. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, it should have been a bit more brutal because it was an unsanctioned match. I kind of felt like the unsanctioned match we got last year between KO and Sammy was more brutal than this, and that didn't even have blood. Again, this should have blood for the feud that they've been having for months. Like, this should have had blood, in my opinion. It should have had blood. They arguably should have had more time, in my opinion, as well, because this was only like a 14-minute match. Should have had more time. Wish it was some blood, but overall, still a really good match. Still a great match, in my opinion, but it just didn't feel like an unsanctioned match, especially because, to me, when I think of unsanctioned with the way WWE like to present it, they like to present it in a way where they're not responsible for anything, which is fine, but if you're going to do that, the match needs to be brutal. It can't just feel like a regular no disqualification match. But nonetheless, the right winner won. Jacob Fatu finally gets his revenge. What's next for these guys? I don't really know because Drew McIntyre is probably just going to be a loser. Jacob, I could potentially see him eventually moving on to the world title scene, but also not because it looks like Cody and Randy is going to continue, so I don't know what you do with him. But nonetheless, the right winner won, and this was an overall great match. Moving on to the Women's Tag Team Championship match between Bayley, Lyra, versus the Irresistible Forces, Nia and Lash Legend, versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, versus Brie Bella, actually, not Nikki, and the returning Paige. So Nikki Bella ended up finding her replacement, which ended up being the returning Paige. And we already know who wins this match. This match was incredibly short. A lot of these matches on this card was short for whatever reason. I don't understand it. This match was fine. It was okay. And the winner that I didn't want to win, which was Paige and Brie Bella, ended up winning. I don't agree with the decision. Look, I get why she won. I understand it. It's a returning Paige. I get it. I'm not the biggest Paige fan, to be honest with you. Now, I am a bigger Paige fan than I am a Bella fan because I think Paige is better than both of them. I'm just not really a fan. I just don't think that you needed this victory because the whole point of the Bellas reuniting was for them to win, not for Paige to win. And plus, we already know where this is going. They're just going to do the same thing that they did before. They're going to do the same thing what they did with Becky Lynch. Have Becky Lynch turn on her tag team partner. They're going to do the same thing. Either Paige is turning or the Bellas are turning. It's probably going to be the Bellas turning because Nikki Bella is going to be mad that Paige took in for her. That's really what they're going to do. They're going to do the same thing they did with Trish Stratus and Lita, where Becky and Lita were champs, and then Trish Stratus, but like, they're just going to do the turn. We know where this is going. Bayley and Lyra should have won. It would have been a full circle moment with Bayley missing WrestleMania last year due to her getting attacked and Lyra winning it with Becky, then Becky turning on Lyra. Then they finally get the WrestleMania moment here, how it's supposed to be last year. Like, it would have been a full circle moment, but no, they went with the typical returning nostalgia act that they always go back to, which is unfortunate. Look, I like Paige. I do. Well, she's fine. I don't really like her, but she's fine. But I just didn't like that we went with the old nostalgic act. But I understand why they went here because again, it's a nostalgic act. People are gonna pop for it. Makes sense. So I get why they went here. I just disagree with the decision. I just don't think they needed to win because if they're just gonna turn the Bella's heel on Paige, you didn't need to have Paige win here. You could have had her lose, and then Nikki Bella could have been mad that you lost the match for them. That would have been the perfect. But no, it is what it is. We'll see how this plays out. But I just disagree with the winner, but I understand why they ended up winning the match. Moving on to the women's Intercontinental Championship match between AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. This match was also every match on this card was damn near short, which makes no sense, especially the women. The women got really disrespected in this WrestleMania, which makes no sense because last year WrestleMania, the women got plenty of time. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, that was like a 15-minute match. And then the main event, well, not the main event, but the women's strip up that last year got hella time. So I don't know what it is about this year. Night one, the women not getting TV time. I don't understand it, but this match was like 6 minutes. Nothing to really mention here. It was really just the ending where Becky used the referee to cause a ref bump. AJ Lee ends up exposing the turnbuckle. AJ Lee runs. Becky Lynch uses the turnbuckle onto AJ Lee, hits a manhandle slam, picks up the victory. So I like that Becky won because Becky finally wins over AJ Lee. Finally, looks like AJ Lee is going to be gone for a while because AJ Lee just said that this isn't. She was getting interviewed. She basically is saying that she won't be back for a while. So that's obviously why Becky Lynch won. Curious to see what they do with Becky without AJ now because I don't know who she feuds with. There's plenty of people for her to feud with. It's just with WWE's booking, I just don't know. Well, Stephanie Valker. Stephanie Valker could easily fill that role, but due to what happened in that Liv Morgan match, I don't know. Maybe Stephanie Valker goes back for the world title, but I wouldn't mind a Stephanie Valker and Becky Lynch feud personally. But we'll see eventually what's next for these women. I hope this is the end of the feud because I know she's going to be gone for a while, but the fact that Becky Lynch cheated, I could easily see them running this back. It's not that complicated. I don't want them to feud no more. It should be the end of the feud, but it wouldn't shock me if WWE runs this feud back when AJ returns. It really wouldn't shock me at all. So I'm hoping this is the end of the feud, but I'm glad Becky Lynch is the IC champion again, but we'll see how this plays out. This match was fine. It was whatever. I like the decision. I like Becky Lynch winning, but that's really it. The match itself was just very mid, if I'm being honest, because again, they didn't really get a chance to cook. It was like 6 minutes, so I can't even blame AJ or Becky Lynch in this situation, but I'm happy that Becky Lynch is your new Intercontinental Women's Champion. Now moving on to easily the match of the night, Seth Rollins versus Gunther. This was an absolute banger match. This was like, I think this match was only like 16 minutes. I kind of wish they would have got more time, but I'm not mad at it. This match was an absolute banger. We ended up getting some cool spots. We ended up getting a 6 spot on the outside where Gunther ended up power bombing Seth Rollins on the ring apron, and then he ends up doing the same thing on the announce table. Then we ended up getting Gunther trying to lift Seth Rollins up for the third power bomb to end up putting him through the announce table again, but then Seth Rollins reverses it into a pedigree on the announce table. Then he ends up going to the other announce table, preparing for a curb stomp, hitting the curb stomp onto the other announce table. This match was absolute banger. It was a lot of chaos. This match was great from top to bottom. These guys had amazing chemistry. But after Seth Rollins ends up hitting the curb stomp, he's celebrating, he's getting the crowd hype. Then you get Braun Breaker makes his return, spears Seth Rollins, throws him in the ring. Gunther recovers, puts him in a sleeper. Seth Rollins passes out. Then after the match, Seth Rollins ends up leaving the ring and Braun Breaker spears him again. This was executed perfectly. I know some people wanted a clean finish, but that wasn't going to happen. It makes sense for Braun Breaker to interfere in this match. Plus, neither guy can really afford a clean loss right now, so it makes perfect sense. Gunther looks strong. Seth Rollins looks strong in a loss due to the interference, so it makes perfect sense. Plus, we get the Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins feud. So I enjoyed this. This was great. This was really great. Really enjoyed it. Very curious to see how that Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins feud played out, but I'm also scared because I feel like Braun should win to get put over, but I feel like Seth Rollins is going to win the feud. But curious to see what happens with Gunther because we're going to probably have to wait a while till Gunther is used in anything important until SummerSlam because Gunther beat Seth Rollins, so he fulfilled his part of the agreement with Paul Heyman. So now Paul Heyman got to live up to his part and owing him that favor. Most likely that's going to be Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So very curious to see how that plays out, but this was overall a really great match. Now for the women's World Heavyweight Championship match between Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Baker. There's really nothing to really say here. We get Judgment Day shenanigans. Liv Morgan wins. That's really it. Like, this match was like 4 minutes, like dead ass. Like, this match was incredibly short for a World Heavyweight Championship match. I don't understand because last year women's got time. Last year the women had time, but this year they don't get time this year. I don't understand it. But Liv Morgan wins. I'm assuming eventually we're gonna get the Judgment Day implosion, but based off history, we're probably not gonna get that until WrestleMania 43 with Triple H booking. So I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm hoping that's the direction because I really don't want to see another Stephanie and Liv match. Not, I know the match could be a banger, but I just feel like Liv is just going to retain anyway, so there's really no need for it. But I understand if Stephanie wants to get the title back because she was cheated in this match. I would just prefer if Stephanie goes after Becky Lynch, then we just do the Liv Morgan Judgment Day implosion, and then they feud for the title. That's what I prefer personally, but I don't have much to say because again, this match was incredibly short. I wouldn't say Liv was the right winner, but I don't think she was the wrong winner. I think you could have went either or. So I'm cool with Liv winning. The match should have been longer. This should have been at least a 15-minute match. I don't understand, especially because these women was constantly trying to destroy each other during the entire build, only for this to be a 5-minute match. I don't understand it. But nonetheless, Liv Morgan is your new World Heavyweight Champion. Well, hopefully her second run is better than her first one, because that first one was trash. So hopefully her second run is better, but due to the recent booking of WWE and their women, most likely it's going to be trash. So we'll see how this unfolds. Now we do end up getting a special announcement. Bianca Belair ends up making her return, but she ends up making a return of her pregnancy because Bianca Belair is officially pregnant. So all of those people who've been constantly wanting that Jade and Bianca feud, that's not happening. And all of the reasonings why people think Jade should retain because they want Bianca to face her, yeah, you could just throw that out the window because Jade shouldn't retain. I'm sorry. I like Jade Cargill, but if she's not feuding with Bianca Belair anytime soon, there's no reason for her to hold the title. I'm sorry. It's over. Congratulations to Bianca. I'm proud. I'm happy for Bianca. I'm happy for Montez. They're building a family. This is their first child, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm happy for them. Congratulations. But you know, as wrestling fans, it does hurt a bit because we won't see Bianca because she's a huge part of the women's division, but I'm happy for her. Congratulations to them. But we'll see how the women's division hold up with Bianca being out for basically another year, which would be very interesting to see how Triple H figures that out. Seems like he hasn't figured it out without her, so I'm assuming that we're going to continue to get the same poor booking. But anyways, I'm very happy for Bianca, very happy for Montez. Can't wait to see, you know, of course, when the baby is born. Hoping for a really, you know, successful, healthy birth, but congratulations to them. Now moving on to the main event for the WWE Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. This match started off very slow. I was like, starting off, I was not a fan of this match because basically it was just Cody Rhodes dominate, Randy dominates, Cody Rhodes dominates, Randy dominates, but it did get very interesting. Early in the match, though, we do end up getting Pat McAfee attacking Cody, but Cody ends up getting the upper hand. Eventually, Pat McAfee was out of the equation with Jelly Roll hitting elbow drop on the announce table, taking him out. So we end up getting eventually the regular, normal one-on-one Randy Orton Cody Rhodes match. Again, at the beginning for like the first 10 to like 12 minutes, it was just one or the other dominates. Cody dominates, Randy dominates. And they ended up playing a back injury with Randy Orton, so eventually Cody took advantage of the back injury. Then eventually we end up getting a couple finishers where Randy ends up hitting his finisher, Cody hits his finisher. Then we end up getting one where they hit each other finishers. Randy ends up hitting a crossroads, Cody ends up hitting an RKO, which I thought was dope. But we do end up getting towards the end. I think it was a moment where the referee ends up getting taken out by Randy. He ends up hitting an RKO. Randy Orton tries to go for a low blow, fails. Cody hits a low blow. Then Cody tries to hit a Cody cutter, but Randy ends up reversing that into an RKO. He goes for a pin. Pat McAfee ends up coming out as the new referee, which I thought was stupid because Pat McAfee got sent on a stretcher with a neck brace on him. So that's what was confusing. I'm like, bro, he was just sent in a stretcher with a neck brace like 15 minutes ago, but he's already back 15 minutes later. Like, come on, bro. I just thought that was dumb. But then he comes in as the new referee, counts, Cody kicks out. Pat McAfee is telling Randy to finish the job, finish the job. Randy Orton ends up hitting an RKO on Pat McAfee. Cody ends up hitting a crossroads, taking advantage, and retains the WWE Undisputed Championship. Okay, this match was great. I do agree this match was great. I don't understand why Pat McAfee had to get back involved, but due to that, I'm assuming Randy is not working with Pat anymore, which is thank God. This feud is obviously going to continue. Also, I forgot to mention that Randy attacked Cody after the match, hits him with the WWE Undisputed Championship, and then he ends up puck kicking him. So clearly, we're going to see a more vicious, more dangerous version of Randy. I actually think this is the correct choice, personally. I do. Randy didn't need this victory. He's winning his 15th title eventually, so calm down, all the Randy Orton fanboys. He's going to win eventually, so that's no big deal. I like what they're doing here. And now with the fact that Randy Orton isn't working with Pat McAfee anymore, I'm hoping that we're not getting that tag team match that was rumored at Backlash, because there's no reason to do it now with Randy, not working with Pat McAfee. And plus, Pat McAfee did say if Randy Orton did lose, he won't be there anymore. So if that's the case, we won't see no more Pat McAfee at all, which is a good thing. So I enjoyed this main event. I thought it was great. I get people are going to be mad that Randy didn't win, but he's going to win eventually. It's not that deep. It's not like last year where John Cena had to win because John Cena turned heel, but that was his first time turning heel. Randy turning heel isn't new. We already know what heel Randy could do. This isn't anything new. So that's kind of a bit of the difference. Overall, though, I thought this show was good. I understand if people didn't like this show. I do. Now, it's not the worst WrestleMania ever. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. That's a bit of a stretch. I get it. The ads were ridiculous. The short match times were bad. I get it. But the matches themselves weren't bad. It was just the amount of time they got was bad. Plus, there was majority of the card I liked. It was only like 2 or 3 things I didn't like for the most part. It was really just the short match times. The time should have been longer. That was really it. And I only disagree with the women's tag match. That's it. Everything else I enjoyed. I just wish it was longer. That was really it. So overall show for me, I give it like a 7 out of 10. The ads kind of ruined it, bring it down. And again, the short match time, bring it down. The matches were longer. This could have easily been like an 8, 9, 10 out of 8, like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 WrestleMania. But for me, it's like a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed the overall show, but I understand if you guys think it's worse because I get it. But you guys let me know your overall thoughts, opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. But yeah, that's it.